Just beside me, a skeleton was revealed by erosion in December of 2012. And the head of the skeleton was just here, and their feet were sticking into the section over there. At first it was assumed that the burial was probably associated with what was being revealed in the section. And a sample was sent off to for radiocarbon dating, and the date came back as early 19th century. So the more likely explanation for the burial is that they were a body washed up on the shore. Behind me, you can see these great big granite blocks placed upon the sand, and that is the foundation of the Broch wall. The outside face of this wall to the inside face of this wall, it's 5 meters, so that's a 5 meter wide wall. Imagine Iron Age castles. So castles in the Iron Age would have great big thick defensive walls, and that's probably what we're looking at here, an Iron Age castle, or as we call them, brochs. So here the sea again has done our work for us, and then it's revealed underneath the foundations of the Broch this incredible well, which as far as we can tell from what was infilling it, hasn't been disturbed until 2012.
Today I've been emptying out the well, which is a fantastic structure with 12 steps surviving going down to a large tank at the bottom. The top part of the well here is corbelled over. What that means is that the flagstones are stepped in a little bit more at each level, and eventually the whole floor is flagged over. So there would have been just probably a small opening at this end that would have allowed people to get access to the well and to get water and to clean it out and so on. And then over the top we have the hearth deposits of the wheelhouse occupation.
So over the past couple of days, I've been working here, which is a hearth layer, which we think is associated with the wheelhouse. But you can actually see, when you're looking underneath it, there are more deposits of charcoal coming through here. And there's actually another couple of layers here, which are presenting kind of burnt characteristics. So I think probably what we've got is a series of hearths that are associated with the wheelhouse structure, that they've been layering on top of each other. So repeated episodes of burning, possibly cooking, other industrial activities as well.
As is common with many brochs, they changed from being castle-y defensive structures into domestic structures. And behind me here, you can see very clear evidence of that. You've got the inside face of the Broch wall, and against it has been built this dry stone wall, which is one of what we call piers of a wheelhouse.
Well, today I've been working on a section of the interior wall of the Broch where it appears that a pillar has been, a pillar of some sort has been put and a structure built up against the interior wall. It's built on a pile of rubble and peat ash, so it would have come after the Broch wall was originally in place. And it's kind of cool because it's been built on a little bit of a curve to fit the contours of the Broch wall itself.
So now I'm on the other side of the Broch, and we can see one of the other piers that would have been related to the wheelhouse. So behind me, we should be seeing the Broch wall, but it's not there. We see brochs as like amazing, fascinating, tantalizing glimpses of the past, but previous generations would have seen them as great quarries.
So obviously they dismantled the Broch to build their houses. But that left a deep layer of infill that's filled up over the years, because we've also found a couple of bits of Hanseatic pottery that shows that there were activity here at that period, and that the locals here were obviously trading with the German merchants that were here. So probably the people who built their houses from the Broch in the medieval period were fishing and trading fish and knitting and things like that in exchange for German pottery.
So what we're doing today on the site is we're doing a special sort of scientific dating called optically stimulated luminescence, or OSL for short. You don't need to remember that. It's a technique that dates quartz grains to when they were last exposed to light. So working on the assumption that the last time the sand underlying the Broch was exposed to light was when the Broch was constructed, we can get a date of the date of construction of the Broch by dating the quartz grains underneath it. So we're also taking samples using Cuvier tins, and by using tins you can take a block of sediment and then you impregnate that sediment with resin, and then you can make very, very thin slices of the block of sediment and you can look at it under a microscope. So that's really helpful in looking at the microscopic history of how a deposit has built up and what it's made of as well.
Archaeology Shetland's a brand new community group. We set it up in February this year with the idea of liaising between kind of the public and the professionals and getting everyone involved in archaeology and helping promote and conserve Shetland's archaeology through sort of actions of the community. The site has taken us slightly by surprise. There's more here than we expected. The volunteers have all had a really, really good time this week. Great introduction to archaeology and a brilliant first season for Archaeology Shetland.
I learned a lot, yeah. It's been great working with archaeologists and seeing exactly how a dig works. When I was little, this was my dream job, to be an archaeologist.
All this just goes to show how much the coast has changed, even really in the last 20 years, how much it's been eroded away and how we need to document these things and check them out before they're lost completely. I have really enjoyed working on the dig and I've been here every day I can.
Oh, it's been brilliant. Yeah, it's really nice to have this opportunity to be excavating. Because I usually deal with the finds in my line of work, so it's actually really great to do at this end, and when they're actually coming out the earth and the sand to see how the process works. It's been brilliant.
It's fascinating. It's really, really been a privilege to work on it, and it's very interesting to see just what's evolved from just the day we've had so far.
It's been an absolutely fantastic site to work on. We've had some really, really interesting stuff coming out, some fantastic features like the well and the hearth, and also it's been really good to get together with a bunch of like-minded people and have some good fun looking at some really interesting archaeology.
I've never done anything like this ever before. I've always wanted to, but there isn't the opportunity to get involved in anything, so when I saw this on Facebook I jumped at the chance, and it's been fabulous. I think it's been one of the best things I've ever done, apart from the drawing.
It's a fabulous piece of archaeology that's just emerging from the cliff, and to take part in this with Scape has been a fantastic experience.
It's been an absolute blast being here. Everybody's nice, of course, and the weather has been so far just absolutely perfect for this kind of thing.
My favourite thing has been finding the finds. My favourite find was the fishing hook. It is better than going on holiday.